Hi, book friends. So, as you guys know, I'm Gina from OMG Look at Her Books. I'm so excited for today's video. I have some special guests with me today, and they're going to introduce themselves.
I am Cynthia from Sin's Workshop. I don't want to brag, but I am the reason she started her channel.
She's to blame.
And I'm Izzy from Instagram at Izzy Marie Reed.
All right, so super excited. We are going to be talking about What the River Knows. This was the young adult book club pick for November at Barnes & Noble, and it was perfect. It was The Mummy meets Death in the Nile.
So, I absolutely think that this book could give Indiana Jones a run for its money, a classic, and of course, I love the enemies to lovers romance in it. That was my favorite part.
And the male love interest was so lovable. He was funny, and I just think it was a perfect story. It was really great to read.
So, can't wait to talk about it.
Ooh.
So now that we have a little bit of an overview about the book, we're going to talk about the review. So if you have not read this book yet, save this video for later. Don't watch it because there will be spoilers. Just a heads up, repeat, there will be spoilers coming up.
Yes. First spoiler is Inez drove me absolutely nuts. I liked her, and then okay, it's not that I didn't like her. She annoyed the crap out of me. She annoyed the crap out of me.
It was her quick and irrational decisions.
She didn't think before she did any little thing, and it was the most frustrating thing in the world because there were so many problems in the book that could have been resolved and avoided if she had just sat down and listened to what people were telling her.
That she just had to cause issues.
She was just annoying.
Hopefully we'll have some character growth in book 2 with her.
Because it is a duology, so we might get to see a different,
fingers crossed,
a different side of her.
She learned from her mistakes a little bit.
I'm hoping, especially after that ending, she better learn from her mistakes because it was not cool. That part was not cool. I won't spoil that part, but it wasn't cool. I was not copacetic with it because, again, it could have been avoided if she had just
thought a little bit.
About the consequences.
She could have prevented a lot of heartache.
Actions.
She could have prevented the big thing that happened at the end.
I think as the story went on, she started thinking less.
Yeah, became more rash.
They were
she was dealing with a loved one, so I guess I can see it, but I see where you're coming from.
It was just she was nuts. I hate to say that. She was just nuts. I was just so frustrated her from the so at the beginning I felt, a connection with her. I was just like, oh, she really just wants to see her parents, and then she finds out that they're dead. So of course I can understand leaving to go solve their disappearance, which, it would have made better sense if it was a murder, if they were suspected of being murdered versus disappearing in the desert. Because I'm just like, well, people disappear in the desert all the time.
Which it did become later on that we thought it was a murder, but that wasn't until later on in the story.
It was like halfway through.
I think though her character, Whit made up for it.
That's
what I mean?
My favorite character.
He was so lovable, even from the beginning. You could tell he was trying to be a bad guy.
He walked into the story, I was like, I love him.
He was the saving grace. I wish he
was funny. The banter between him and Inez.
It was it was definitely an enemies to lovers because he hated her from the beginning, but at the same time he couldn't help himself. That was obvious too. I love the romance part.
And then she was always throwing herself at him.
Yes.
That was just kind of...
My ego hurt for her.
It was just desperate, though. He's just like, no. And she's like, I see the way you're looking at me.
And she's that one line that she kept saying, I was like, ooh. I was like,
please stop. Stop talking.
But then her hype girl, her friend, she kept saying, I see the way he looks at you.
Well, see, that's okay.
That's
true. I was okay with because... it didn't sound so desperate. It's just like, I see the way you look at me. It's just like, okay.
Yeah, I think it's just the fact that she told it to his face.
And repeatedly.
Yeah, I think 3 times she might have said it.
Yeah. Hence the desperate comment that I keep saying.
But it was after, I believe she said it after he still told her that he was betrothed too. So that's true.
Well, but I have more character growth in book 2.
I still love them.
I mean, yes, they had really good character dynamics, really good chemistry. I'll say that. I did like their banter. I did like their friendship.
That's true. And he said that we're friends.
I did appreciate that the author focused a lot on their friendship and that he wouldn't let that go.
Or we're just jumping in.
I think that's what makes Whit a little bit more lovable because it's just like, I'm in a tight spot, but I still want us to be friends.
And he kept her secret. Remember, multiple times. Oh, please don't tell my uncle. All right, I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
He kept their secret.
He respects her.
That's true. I did like that.
I think that's why we love Whit so much.
That's true. I liked her side characters too that she wrote about. I really
Yeah.
like the friendship that she.
I like
And
the
then
entire little
Laura.
like crew they had. I love them all.
Abdullah, Isadora.
Isadora. I think Isadora is my
Isadora.
favorite on the crew besides Wit.
Okay. Even the
Oh.
uncle grew on me.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but
Tio Ricardo, that was the uncle, right?
Yes.
yes, that's
He-
Ricardo.
He really grew on me.
But I like that one minor character who's just like, yeah, I'll sneak you up on the boat.
Oh, the little chef
the little
boy.
chef.
I think his
yes!
name starts with a K.
I don't know.
Kareem.
Kareem. I think it's Kareem.
He
Oh,
was
that's
great. And
right.
yeah.
I got a bug for you. Oh, we'll keep it a surprise.
And I
That's
love how
right.
she was like, I'm trying to
the
surprise my
side
Yes.
uncle.
characters. I like the side characters more
Yeah.
than I like the main character.
Clearly
I mean, she just
irritated you.
half the time I was reading it, I was just like, "Are you kidding me right now?" I'm like, "Really? Like you have no money. You're in a foreign land. Like it makes total sense that your uncle wants to send you home because he's working on an excavation site. No, he can't take care of you. You have no experience. What are you doing?"
Became more of a
here?"
liability. It's funny because I really, really liked her at the beginning, and then it just got worse and worse.
worse.
That
Yeah.
final decision before that that finale. That's I did it.
Yeah.
I get it. I see it.
Yeah.
I
I
see why
think
she
it was in the
irritates you.
last like 100 pages that she was like driving me insane.
Oh my god, those last 100 pages were the worst. She was at her worst there.
Did you guys see the plot twist coming? So they portray the uncle as being the bad guy. He's the bad guy. He's the reason why her parents, are dead and they were missing. And towards the end, I started to see, okay, maybe he's not the villain. Then as soon as her mother showed up, from the dead, I was like,
For
okay.
me, it was just like the moment that letter popped up in her room.
You
I
said
was
that.
like, this seems like way too obvious of a red
I
herring.
didn't catch that.
And I'm
You
just
did
like,
too?
I thought it was pretty like
Convenient?
early. It was kind of early on and really
Okay.
convenient.
I missed it completely. I didn't think
Yeah.
anything of it.
I was just like, I'm like, so it felt to me that someone was setting up.
I
the
just
uncle.
figured that one of the
Okay.
parents was gonna be evil. Like as soon as
In
she went to
fact-
go like search for them.
At first, I didn't even think the letter was written by her mother. I thought
Oh.
someone was just framing the uncle just to frame him, especially
Okay.
after that conversation with the guys at the dinner.
Okay.
Because that happened after the dinner scene with the French
Okay.
man
I could
and the
see
British
that.
man.
They kept portraying the uncle as being evil because he even he blew up at her at one point, and I was like, "Oh,
To be
he's bad."
fair-
But he did go back and
Yeah.
apologize, so I did feel better
As soon
about
as he
that.
apologized, I was like, I don't think he's the
I-
villain.
To me, every time he blew up at her, I thought it was completely warranted. I
She
I
deserved to
did.
be
I
yelled
was
at.
like, You're not thinking straight.
I
So
think
of
I was
course
just
he's
so
yelling
focused
at
on
you.
making him the villain. I think that's what it was. But then as soon as the mom showed up, don't tell anybody. Then I started getting
I was like,
suspicious.
yeah.
She was suspicious from the
That's what
beginning.
threw me,
I
yeah.
was just like,
The fact that she
I
was
don't
just in her
trust you.
tent and she was just like,
Don't
no,
tell
don't tell
anyone.
anyone.
Yes.
And then
I was still shocked though when her mother left her on the boat. I was like, "Oh, she just left her." I was still shocked by it.
her mother is a shitty person.
I
Her
really
mother
hope
is-
she gets revenge on her in the next book.
She.
I'm
I
like-
hope she gets hers.
Yeah.
I'm like, because
Because she double crossed even them.
She's the reason that Avira, her name, is dead too.
Oh yeah, her cousin. That
Mhm.
broke me. That part. That was unnecessary.
so
okay.
unnecessary.
It was a really.
Couldn't she have just been grazed by a bullet? That was so
Like,
violent.
Okay, I had to
Almost
actually
near
reread
death.
That part, I'm like
Is she-
unrecognizable face. I'm just like, did it just like go through her mouth? And I'm like, oh no, she's dead.
She's dead. Yeah. Yeah.
I was
I
like,
think it was
she's
her head,
dead.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, that's terrible.
It was brutal. That was
It
brutal.
was unnecessary. And again,
Agreed.
it could have been avoided if Inez had just listened to what everyone was saying.
And even though, of course, Liam. Oh my gosh, wrong book. That's Fourth Wing. He was trying to help me out. What's the guy's name in this book?
Which
Wit?
Wit?
Wit. Thank you. I'm on
Liam.
Fourth Wing still. So Wit even tried to make her feel better, and he was like, "Oh, it's okay. It's not your fault." Yes, it was
It
your
was
fault.
totally 100%
It was your
her
fault. I get he was trying to make her feel better, but that
Because
just
she was
shows,
trying
you
to
know.
go off to like the warehouses where to
Yeah.
go find her
Yes,
cousin.
and he said to wait.
He said
I will go
wait.
after her.
He's like, I will do this. Yeah.
She doesn't know the lands.
The guy
doesn't
who
know these
has
people.
military training.
Oh,
Exactly.
she knows.
I will go get her.
She knows. This is like the
If
bodyguard.
she would have gone with Wit, it probably would have been fine. She
Yeah.
doesn't know anything about this land. She literally came
Right.
like 4 days ago. How is
Right.
she expected
She
to?
knows nothing, which
But-
is why I
yeah.
get why her uncle wanted to send her back. home.
Yes, but then again, we were putting him on a pedestal. Wit, but that ending, that last
There
part
is
Oh
has
my
us.
goodness.
Something really.
The
suspicious
epilogue,
about the ending.
I gasped.
Like,
I did not.
I didn't even realize who. I was so confused. Like,
Okay,
who was
so
he
when
writing?
he was sending the telegram, I thought he was just gonna, write his family, say, "Hey, I'm coming home. Hey, I don't want to be betrothed." I thought it was gonna be
the
like
problem
something
with
like
the
good.
ending is it's too confusing because he only mentions his brother once.
I had to look it up.
I couldn't even remember.
I had to Google it, and Show did see. I'm like, who the heck is Porter?
I was like, what does this mean?
It was like such a flippant comment that the author puts in the book early on. And yes, she does say his name, but again, one time in the span of the entire book.
I think it was towards the beginning too.
Yeah, I would have rather she mentioned more familial issues throughout the story.
Right.
So that way
it was more of a shock and you were like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Whereas at the end I was just confused. I was like, who's
and the telegram said Inez fell for
She fell for it. So theories.
So,
what did she fall for? What are we thinking? Theories.
I think your theory is right.
Yeah.
That they're broke.
Yep. And he needs to marry for money, and then he found out she's wealthy, and because he's a lord, and he's supposed to be wealthy, but maybe they fell into hard times, and he needs to find someone for
and that might be why he's betrothed as well.
I wanted to know more about the sister though too when it comes to him, because I feel like that might have something to do with
I
it.
have
because he does mention a comment like she won't talk to me. Like, okay, who's this?
I have the Alcrate edition. In the back of the Alcrate edition, there is a series, I think, of like 10 letters between him and his sister.
Okay.
So they were like
because
he doesn't give us much about them. Well, he doesn't give us much about
a little telegrams.
I mean,
it's like pulling teeth. I mean, that's what most guys anyway. He's trying to get the information out of them.
He does mention a she, and I'm like, who is this she? Is this she his betrothed? Who he?
I want to know more about that.
And is it real? That's what I want to know.
I think it was just mentioned like once or twice.
I thought it was just an excuse at first. Like he was just saying that to like protect her from himself.
I think that's another thing, another issue I had with the storytelling, that she just kind of mentions things once or twice throughout the entire narrative.
Right.
And then it's supposed to have some big impact later on. It's just like,
so I'm hoping I'm hoping those loose ends get tied up.
And the other big thing, the father. Okay, I think he's alive.
Oh, he definitely.
Don't stop looking for me. I mean,
he's definitely alive.
Totally alive.
And it sounds like we like the dad. He's likable.
I think I like the dad. In fact, even from the beginning, I felt like she had a stronger relationship with her
father.
Right, he sent her the ring.
He sent her the ring. He's the one who taught her hieroglyphics. Words.
She's his mini-me, kind of, sort of, you know.
Right. So I think she has a strong relationship with the father.
Definitely.
So
I think he was the one who like sent the bulk of the telegrams anyway. Like weren't they mostly
and
from
he sent
her
her
father?
The ring. He trusted her above everybody. You know, I could see that. Okay.
I want her to get
overall
the ring
thoughts.
back.
We're gonna talk about overall thoughts. So overall, what do you think of the book?
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very easy to read it. So like I wasn't like struggling to keep turning the pages. I was focused and really into it. So I really liked it.
I thought it was very fast paced. I think that's what I really loved about it.
I like fast paced books.
Was like even from the very beginning, as soon as she took off after meeting Widow, I was like, oh, look at you go.
Really fast.
It really did. I agree. You too overall?
I would give it 3 out of 5 stars, to be honest.
I gave it 4 stars.
I gave it 4 because I'm a romance girl and I
love the banter.
I couldn't get over that. I really couldn't.
I feel like that's for you. I feel like this is like a reoccurring thing. Like she doesn't like the main character, then it like because wasn't that happen with the that happened with the past pick too.
With the other book, that whole thing was just stupid. She was the first who would die in a horror movie in that book.
Yes.
That's neither here nor there.
But overall, I would recommend this book.
I would read the second book, and I would recommend it, especially if you like high stakes, historical fiction. If you love The Mummy because it has strong mummy vibes.
Mummy, Death on the Nile, Indiana Jones.
I gotta say the setting I think was one of my favorite parts.
It reminds me of Indiana Jones even a little bit, with like the tombs,
The setting, and I don't think I've read a lot of stories that take place in Egypt.
I think it was the first story I read.
And you know what? The side characters were amazing. I love when the author devotes a lot of time to building up their side characters. So that was redeeming for me.
Okay.
But still just 3 stars.
Hopefully get a little more closure in the next book. And
I need better
hopefully we get more time on the Nile.
I want more about the Nile.
You
I was just gonna say
that. Literally the book title. What
right?
The river knows.
So what about the river?
I think all they did was take the boat. They also just took the boat on the Nile.
Well, they took the boat. They had some trouble. She fell in. But then they also mentioned, the Nile has seen everything and knows so much in one part.
I want to know.
Like, come on. She said that one time, and
maybe we'll see more. Maybe we'll see more development.
Hopefully. I'm keeping.
So I'm excited for the duology. Does anyone know when it comes out?
Probably in a year.
We'll have to look that up. Probably in a year.
Anyway, thank you all for tuning in to this collaborative video today. If you want to check out the book yourself, I will, of course, include all the purchase options in the description below. On that note, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, happy reading!